StudioNascosto.
Hey, it's Katie here. We're going to do another digital paint with me. This time it's young Bedivere. He's going to be fun. His design was fun. Oh, need to change my brush size here. I tend to use two different brush sizes for our different work. Round table has a brush size 6 because the lines are thicker and a little more anime influenced. And then I use size 4 for everything else, just because that's my style and I prefer that. Get those eye lines nice and thick. There we go. This style is very, it's kind of out of my comfort zone. I mean, I enjoy it. It's fun, but it's kind of a stretch for me because most of my influence comes from Miyazaki and from Disney. And this is very, might be showing my age, but this is very Teen Titans from 2003. That was kind of where we drew inspiration. So it's definitely stretching my abilities, but I do enjoy doing it. Yep, I was too close in. Like I said, still getting used to how anatomy works with this style. He's such a serious young man. Except for when he's around Arthur. And then they play a little bit. You see more of his personality. And I'm not happy with how the pupil lined up there. I'm gonna fix that. Eye lines are important. There we go. That's better. I like his hairline too. It's not my go-to, but it gives him a good bit of definition to his face. The disheveled medieval look. Who doesn't like that look? This is a bit of a trick with my tablet. It's not really a clip paint studio thing. It's more of my tablet thing. But I have to move slowly with more jagged edges because otherwise it'll just look like more like W's than actual defined jags. I forget to do that sometimes. This looks like a comfortable piece of costume right here. It's like the top part of a hoodie, and that's it. I kind of want something like that just for me to wear. You notice that my lines overlap most of the time. I do that to keep from creating gaps when I go to fill in color. What's handy about clip paint is it has a vector eraser, so it it'll stop erasing when two lines intersect, as long as you're on the right layer. It's a handy little tool, and that's why my lines look kind of sloppy. It's just a fail-safe for me. The only downside is sometimes I forget to erase them, and then the final product looks kind of silly. And these little tiny tags, they're sometimes difficult because they don't want to erase all the time. Some more wiggly folds. Nice knotted belt. I should have put some more folds in the belt in my sketch, but we can do that here now. Not too much, just enough to show that it's cloth. Clean everything up. Now this is going to be fun, this knitted armor, or not knitted, quilted armor. It's going to be a lot of coloring and a lot of shading, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird, but I like repetitive things like that. But line work first, and then I can go relax with the squares upon squares. I'm going to keep those squares a separate layer as well, even the line work, because I'm going to do it a different color, and it's easier just to, for my organization, for them to be separate. Oops. Poor Bedivere. He barely gets any hands in this picture. And there's the bandage. You'll learn all about that later. Right now this is more just for my own knowledge, how it's going to look. Now boots. Boots have been difficult for this project. I mean, they should be really simple, because in the medieval era there's not a ton of variation unless it's armor for boots. Then they wouldn't even really be boots. But I kind of wanted to go. Oops. No. Let it do its recovery thing. That's another nice feature of clip paint, is every now and then it'll stop and make sure that it's doing a recovery save for you in case something happens, and that has saved my butt a few times now. What was I saying? Oh yeah, boots. It's hard not to get too complicated. I'm used to drawing modern boots, and these are much, there's much less to them. And part of that Teen Titans-esque style is that feet are just big. Feet, and for some reason, lower arms and lower legs are really big. Now, let's finish this one up. It still feels weird to me, but it looks alright. Clean up the tags. That's the downside of this tablet. It's hard to scroll down with things. There we go. That's better. That was going to bug me. There we go. Clean it up again. Let's see. Feet are still difficult for me to draw too. I don't know if you ever get past that. Feet and hands are always hard. Then you learn little tricks to them, but they're still, at some angles, they're still difficult. Maybe I should do some studies. Couldn't hurt. Alright. I think we're just about at quilted time. Nice dark brown to go with the lighter brown background. Coloring time. I'm going to color first, and then I'll go back and do the line work for the quilted armor. I had a bit of tug of war with myself about what color to make Bedivere's hair. But I don't know. His hairstyle just says dark brown to me. We'll see what Jared thinks about that. Clean up the edges. This is something I do too, is when I do a fill, it doesn't always get all the little crevices, so I have to go back with a smaller brush and just touch it up. That's another relaxing thing for me. I don't know, it might bug other people. His eyes. They're so sad. I had to go with a blue. Kind of a stormy blue. Let's get that highlight in there. Normally with that which is unseen in Bloodhounds, I'll just grab a lighter version of the same color, but this is a different style, so it's going to be a real stark white. I never go completely white with the sclera and teeth. It's always a little bit gray, just slightly. Give us a good silver color. There we go. Never mind. I'm going to do this instead, I think. There. There we go. Keep it nice and grayish. Go with that same kind of gloomy motif with him. He's not really a sad guy. At least not right away. But I don't know, something about him and the way he carries himself just says very serious. Because he is very night-minded. So, let's see, where to next? Yeah, real pastel-y. This way we can tie in the rest of the tunic to the hood. Missed a part. There we go. That's better. More definition to the arm there. It could have worked without that line, but it would have looked lopsided. Let's see. Make that bigger. Yeah, I think green's gonna work better there. That's the fun part. Trial and error with concept. Oops, wrong layer. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Nice and dark. Create some contrast in the palette. Yeah, go. Huh. Starting to get some Robin Hood vibes from him here. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah. Nice silver. Some good dark leather for the belt. Maybe I'll do the same with the bandage. The quote-unquote bandage. If it's made of leather, I guess it's not really a bandage. Clean up the little bits. There we go. Oh, yep, missed a little sliver there. It always happens. I zoom in on something else and then I see other things that need to be fixed. Make that bigger. You'll see that I do that a lot when I'm selecting. If I don't make it a little bit bigger by like maybe a pixel width, then there's this gap between my line and the fill, and it doesn't look very good. So that was the quickest way I found to fix that. There we go. Get the bottoms. I'm sure rubber wasn't a thing. Well, maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know enough about rubber. I'll just say this is a tougher, darker type of leather to go for on the sole of the boot. Clean up the corners. Check the other side, yeah. Always right at the edge. There we go. Yep. There it is. Done. Now I can move. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this leather. It doesn't need to be a bandage. Maybe it will be initially, but not afterward. Come on, there we go. Get And the corners. Ah, what did I do? Oh, okay. Bumped it. Whoops. Now we need skin tone. This is something I learned like way too late, is that your skin tones should always have a basis in red. My initial thought was, oh, maybe an orange or a yellow. Nope, go red. Otherwise it'll look like they're jaundiced. And if that's what you're going for, then yeah, go for it. But if you want them to look healthy, do a shade of red. And we'll give him a nice kind of darker pink. Because he's been outside a lot, he's tanned a little bit. More of an olive skin tone. Even though he's very British. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of a darker color. Same color family, but darker color for all this fun quilting stuff. Here we go. It's going to be a lot of overlap, but it's fun. Usually, if I'm not talking to anybody, I can just shut my mind off when I'm doing this kind of thing, because it's same thing over and over again. And for an anxious person like me, it kind of helps to have something that my mind doesn't have to race about. It's just, oh, it's the same thing over again. I don't have to think about it. No, I take it back. I do kind of have to think about this because he's got some dimensions I have to follow here. There we go. I'll have to fix that in a minute. That's too broad of a line. And so is that. Yeah, I don't like how that looks. And here I am having to think after I told you that I didn't have to think. No, just use line correction on that one. But I'm going to clean these up first. There we go. Thank you, Vector Erase, for making life easier. Now, let's fix that line. Gave him way too much peck on one side, so we will straighten this up. This is another fun little tool in clip paint. It's you can correct a line by moving all these little points that it creates. In a way it's really helpful, but the other way you have to space them just right, otherwise they look kind of wonky. How do I want to fix this part? I was pretty happy with how the line started, so maybe I'll move the other line down a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's better. I'm much happier with that. Good. There's this. I don't know how I feel about those stitches. I kind of want... It might look better with X stitches instead of just straight across, so we'll experiment a little bit with that. Try it this way first. Oops. There we go. I'm not in love with that. Yeah, that's much better. XXX. It's a more interesting shape for shading too. It's a bold move. Let's see how it pays off for cotton. Not really a bold move, just me rambling, really. Time for shadows. So, easiest way to do this is find my shadow. There we go. Have the numbers memorized. At this point I do. Usually I use a color catalog for this kind of thing, but I use shadows enough to know where they are. Select on the outside, so I don't have to select all the bits and pieces, and then switch it. Do the inverse, and now we will paint all our shadows on. I'm going to do it at 50% opacity. Generally, I'll do like 24 or 25% for shadows, but they're much more stark with this style. So we'll pump them up a little bit. Missed a little bit there. And there. Any more? Nope. Okay. And I'll use my lasso tool to kind of reverse this puzzle a little bit. I found that, oops, wrong layer. Let me go back. There we go. It's easier for my brain to just color the whole thing in shadow and then take out what I don't need, rather than putting in shadow using the lasso tool. And it seems like it shouldn't be that difficult, but for some reason I have a hard time switching the other way. Give him some hair. Look like it's fluffy. There we go. I'm a bit of a weirdo too in this way that, like, I move downward on a character when I'm doing shadows, and it bugs me to do things out of order. Maybe I'm a little bit OCD that way. But if I do shadows, like I start at the top and then I go over to the side, or I start doing stuff at the bottom, it throws me off. I have my way of doing things. But I'm sure everyone has that to some degree. Get that nice round eye. Oops, forgot which way I was going. Try again. Didn't want to do that. Let's make this simpler. There. Come on. Here we go. There it is. Okay, that's better. Give him some luscious eyelashes with these shadows. He has nicer eyelashes than I do. Little hooked nose. We actually used different actors for reference for all of the round table characters for the initial designs. They kind of stray off of what the actors look like, but maybe when you see older Bedivere you can guess who we used. I'm not going to give it away. Ha ha ha. Get this ear. Show that this half a hoodie has some dimension. There we go. I'm considering... No, I don't think I will. For a minute I was thinking I would put some shine on this ring here, but I don't think we need to. I want to give the impression that it's older and it's not really shiny. It's just kind of worn. Get this hood done. Little bubble of fabric there. There we go. It's another fun thing is shading folds. It's fun trying to accentuate different parts of the costume. There we are. Kind of thicken up the way the fabric looks this way. I'm thinking maybe it's kind of a wool or something like that. So we need some deeper shadow pockets. Oh, here's the fun part. This is where I would shut my brain off, turn on some music, and just do the same thing over and over again. But you're here, and I have company, and I like talking to you, so I won't shut my brain all the way off. But maybe you and I can share the satisfaction of seeing this done in succession. I gotta remember which way my light's coming from, and remember how thick this material is. So this little shadow pocket's going to be on the bottom. The bottom parts, I guess I should say. It's not too thick of a material, so I'm not going to put a bunch of shadow at the top. Carry out the line from the hoodie. I'm sure there's a term for it, but I don't know what it is. I'm just going to call it a hoodie. And get in the armpit there. There. Clean that up. If I overlap my lasso, sometimes it makes some weird corners and jags that don't need to be there. So what I did, I don't know, I did it pretty fast, I don't know if you saw it, but what I did was switch it to delete part of my selection instead of add to it. Just a little bit of technical stuff if you're working with clip paint. This is going to be satisfying, guys. Hold on. I delete it all at one time. It's gonna look good. Bam! Should have gotten a wider shot for that, probably. I'll do it next time. If I remember. No. There we go. Let's see. Get this whole row done. Or should I do all of it? I'll just see how it goes. Oops, forgot to zoom out first. Oh, didn't want to do that. Darn it, I was on the wrong layer. Fix that, there we go. What a bump there. This glove works really well most of the time, but I've noticed since I've gotten a new one, I've bumped my layers more than I used to. There we go. Get the little wiggles. It's nice and smooth. I do like it when I can do one sweep for a good portion of shadow. That is a lot of shadow though, right there. Yeah. That works, I guess. Still getting used to it. Oops. When I selected everything, I forgot to not select that part, so I'll go in and clean that up in a little bit. But belt first. Accentuate some folds a little bit better here. Is it bland enough? Is it too bland? I guess maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, pretty alright with that. Now let's shade some stitches. Yeah, I'm pretty happy I went with the X's here. It gives it more, makes it more interesting to look at, I think. Not like it's a huge detail or anything, but I don't know. I like how it looks. And sometimes that's just part of doing art, is doing what you like to see and hoping that other people like it too. It's a funny thing about comics too. I've noticed it in myself when I read comics, is I don't take a lot of detail in. Oh, come on. There we go. I don't take a lot of detail in during the first read. It's just like, what's the expression that they have on their face and what's the dialogue? And I try to keep that in mind as we're doing our comics, is those are the main the main draws, really. Unless the composition kind of draws your eye in a different direction. That's more Jared's speed than mine. But even so, you have to put in detail to keep people interested. So they'll want to read it a second or third or 10th time. And something that's well done is worth reading that many times, I feel. So maybe you'll notice my X's. Maybe you won't. In the end, as long as you like the story, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of fun too when you're drawing and focusing on these kind of details. Like, it creates a backstory in your head. Who stitched it like that? Did he get it that way? Did his mom stitch it for him, knowing that he was a knight? Maybe he had to repair it himself and that just seemed like the best option. I don't know. But it's fun to think about. Get rid of that. There we go. No, he's coming together. Get this poor single hand out of the way. The more I come back to this, the more I like the leather wrap design instead of a bandage. At first I thought maybe it was something like an old tunic that he ripped into shreds and wrapped around his stump, I guess. But this seems more appropriate. He took a weakness and made it look cool. That kind of works for him. There we are. Big shadows. Big swaths that I can cut out. That's my favorite. I feel like I mentioned that already. There we are. Done. Too weird of a line there. There we go. His leg looks rounder. That's good. Get that kneecap. Here. Get under there. His kneecaps are so prominent in this style. So are the biceps. But I guess they kind of have to be if you're drawing a superhero. Yeah, it doesn't need to be that big of a shadow pocket. Alright. Boots and we're done. Thanks for hanging with me through all this, through all my rambling. Hopefully I get better at knowing what to talk about. But this has been nice, sitting and chatting with you guys. the lip. Maybe Jared and I are trying to decide, like, I know that eventually we're probably going to do some kind of Twitch live stream stuff where I can actually talk to you and you can talk back. But I think this is kind of fun too, just like not having to pay attention to and read any chats and just ramble. And if you like this, if you like me being a weirdo and talking to myself, let us know, and I will do plenty more. Because we want you to have just as much fun as we do doing what we're doing. Let's put a background on this guy. Let's see. It's a good color for him. Yeah, we'll match his eyes. That'll look good. Whee. There we go. This is a fun little brush. I like what it does to the lines after you're done. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's a little weird and you have to fix it. So yeah, that's Bedivere. You can see him at in our new comic roundtable Origins, and you can see it early if you subscribe on Patreon. And just for funsies, well, let's put a little dragon over here to remind everybody that it is awesome to subscribe to stuff that you like. Hopefully you liked this. Put some fins on it. There we go. Subscribe. If you've hung out this long, thanks for hanging out. Let's do it again soon.